I'm Denise Love and I want to welcome you to class. So let me show you what we'll be doing today. So I have another idea for us today on making prompt cards. And I don't know why I didn't do this before, because one of my very favorite things is to make these little punched out hearts out of art that really was quite terrible to begin with. And the hearts are so amazing cut out that you'd never know that the piece of art that came from was truly terrible. And so I thought, since we'd already been talking about art prompts, and I love using art prompts to do some intuitive painting and just kind of go with the flow and see how I can kind of break out of an artist rut or maybe add other elements to my work. And so I've already done some an art haul and some videos talking about the color meditation deck, which is lots of yummy art prompts in there. And then I also put out a video on art prompts, the cards, and you can do those in different ways. You could, paint something beautiful and do an art prompt on the back, or you could do an art prompt on the front of it, or you could do like these little cards like I've done, which these are the E. Francis little mini note cards, little notes. And so I love this fun little unicorn pattern because when I was a kid, unicorns were all the rage and still like unicorns. And I thought I'm going to take these little note cards that are already pretty and put my art prompts on them. And then I have like a whole deck of art prompts. And so we did that in our art prompt video already. But after doing that and thinking and looking at these little cards, which I stack in this really lovely antique dessert souffle cup, I guess is what that could be. But it's a dessert cup that I got as a photography prop for some of the photo stuff that I do. And I thought, how can I put all these little hearts somewhere where they're not just piled up on the little shelf behind my table here? And I thought, oh, totally beautiful in this lovely little dessert thing. And you could do like a jar. You could have like this is like my little art prompt dessert holder, but you could have like an art prompt jar and put these in like a little jar and keep them. You could have like a pretty little glass vessel, like I was looking up here at one of the vessels that I store pencils and things in, and look how pretty this little vessel is. And that might be a candle holder, I don't know, but it's really pretty. And so I thought, ooh, that's gonna be pretty to hold my paintbrushes. And you know what, something like that could be real pretty to hold your art prompts. And so what I thought was we could take our beautiful miniature little masterpiece and on the back side of it write art prompts. So like this one says limited color palette, 2, 3, or 4 colors. And so I could pull that prompt and say, let's do 2 colors. We're going to work in a series, so I'm going to do more than one, and we're going to have lines of dots on these pieces. And so we're not really, limiting ourselves in what we could paint so much as giving ourselves some directions to go and being like, okay, now I have some concrete things I'm working towards. What can we create today? And so art prompts fascinate me. I love making them. I love working with them, and now we can make them extra beautiful because I love cutting hearts out in different shapes and pretty pieces of art and turning really terrible pieces of art into pretty little things that I then enjoy. So let's make some little prompt hearts or shapes. And the way I do these is I just pick out some art that is particularly in my mind terrible. Somebody said one time on a piece of art that I cut up, they were like, no, don't cut that up, I'd buy that. And I thought, really? So get yourself a pretty vessel. That makes it much more fun because you're going to have pretty little shapes in there. And get yourself some art that you're like, okay, that's not something I would sell or frame or hang. I don't need to do anything with this. And so let's cut it up. So man, I love to cut up art. I love to make junk art collages where we cut things into stripes and glue those back together in different configurations. And I love making cutout shapes. And I especially love the hearts, which how fun is that since my last name is Love. And these hearts have pastel on it apparently. So if you've got some type of art material on top of the pieces that we're going to use for art prompts, put a finishing spray on those. So like these are soft pastels on there, and so I would take this outside and spray this with a pastel fixative and make sure that every time I touch this card, I didn't get pastels on my fingers. So keep in mind what you've got going on there. And if you've got it where you need to finish it with a spray, go ahead and do that before you cut it up. And then what I really love are these punch stamps. So I've got a heart, I've got this one that looks like a hexagon, I've got this one that's a really beautiful, unique kind of I don't know, Moroccan kind of shape. It's really beautiful. So you could do your little prompt cards in any shape that you want. These two are Fiskars. This is an older Fiskars. So I'm going to link to the Fiskars under the video for each of these because they're my very favorite. They're super easy to use. And just to give you an idea of how these are, we're going to put these in at some point that we're like, ooh, I love that right there, and cut that out. And so I'm actually, because I'm doing hearts, I'm going to use the heart one. And they have the heart one in this little configuration now too, so I'll link that one. This one's a little older, but now they make it like this, and I'd rather have it like this. These are easier on the hands, they're easier to stamp. If I put this in here, let's just stamp one, I can just pop it out just like that. And then look how pretty that is. And that makes like the perfect little tag, the perfect micro piece of art that you could put in with a gift card, or they can be our yummy little art prompts that we put in our lovely little awesome container that we picked for our art prompts, or it could be like a little jar or something pretty like that. So that is what I'm creating. And mine are hearts, so I'm going to use the heart one. And you can see this one was a tiny bit easier just because of the way it grips. So I'm going to grip to the ones that are easier. And now that's much prettier than the great big piece that is kind of old. So what I do is I pick old art that I no longer love. Oh, let's just do one in this one too, so you can see the shape. And then it's something I'm not going to do anything with. And then I'm like, okay, these are things I'm going to cut up. Rather than throw away old art or throw away things you don't love, take it and make it into other stuff that's really pretty. Like, look how pretty all the different shapes there are. We can do a ton with that. And then flip it on the back and we could write our prompts. So I already have like whole lists of prompts that I gave you, and I'll give those to you again under the video so that you can use my prompts. And then if you've got some favorite prompts that you love. So let's see, like this one is tight circles. So on the back, I'd just take a waterproof pen. Like these micron pens are nice for not smearing if you've got something on your hand. Write the prompt on the back and then slip it in your art jar. And I love being able to then pull for those. So I've got, I'll list out the list of prompts that I've been using. I would really love if you could add to our list, and any ideas that you happen to have, give those to us under the video. Make me a comment and say, what about these prompts? And then we'll all have a gigantic list of art prompts that we can have for our yummy art making prompts. And so super fun. It's really easy. I hope you enjoy making these. These little punch outs are what make them so much fun. Pull all your old art out that you're like, this is terrible. I don't want you to ever throw a piece of art away again, because you can make collages out of that art. You can make yummy little punch outs of that art. And look how beautiful these are. And then write fun prompts on the back. Put them in a fun container, and now you have something beautiful to add to your art room and to work with as you're creating. So I hope you have fun making these. Definitely leave me some ideas below in the comments, and I'll see you next time.